I am Louise Welcome, a photographer from the south of England and a comp sitter. There, I've said it. My tripod grows roots and I miss out on rather a lot as a result.
Welcome to Scotland, everybody. We're on our way to get a ferry at Ardrossan across to the Isle of Arran. However, we've decided to stop on the way up because I found a little hidden gem. I'm talking to you up here because it's very, very loud down there. You'll see what I mean.
What a cracking little find, eh? Yes!
I was going to scramble down the bank on the right-hand side because there was an area where you could stand, but it's actually covered in quite deep water at the moment, so it's going to be a compromise. So I think what I'm going to do is perhaps go down low here, see if I can exploit those trees on the left-hand side to balance out the right-hand side where the fall is. Unfortunately, I've got some trees in the way. How very dare they? Composition 1. I'm going to try some framing and perhaps get in some of these ferns, see how it goes.
Yes, already there's something wrong here. You'll see in a second. It's alright as an introduction. The bottom right is a little bit too dominant and I feel frustrated. I want to see the base of the falls.
I'm liking this. Getting down low, featuring those ferns, that works well. Now not to mess it up.
This does feel more comfortable. I can see the base of those falls. I've got my ferns. My foreground's a bit dominant and that left tree, not sure whether it's needed. This vertical shot does allow those ferns to feature a little bit more, and also the three trees on the left add some visual counterbalance to the fall on the right hand side. Right, enough faffing about the falls, let's get to that port. Now this being half term, the ferry was pretty rammed, so we packed ourselves in like sardines on deck to watch what turned out to be a really cracking light show. Right, let's get some context. Arran is an accessible island 1 hour off the coast of Scotland west of Glasgow. The main commercial centre is Brodick, where the ferry lands. The island's divided into highlands and lowlands and is known for its geology. 530 million years ago, this was based in the southern hemisphere. All kinds of facts to keep you on your toes. Its highest peak is Goatfell, which we saw for a total of about 1 hour during our 6 days there. By heck has this place got a lot to offer though, whether it is standing stones, beaches, hidden valleys, distilleries, some cracking flora and fauna. There's so much for photographers to choose from, including midges. Today, smidge and a midge net. They're the two things that are saving my bacon. Welcome to the Isle of Arran, a Scottish isle 55 minutes across the water from the mainland. My campsite's up there. As is a pub, oh dear. As well as lots of igneous rock, we have Pladder Island and Lighthouse, and another one, name on the screen in the background. According to the forecast, we were due to have 23 out of 24 hours worth of rain today, and we seem to have a nice little window at the moment, so we're just going to go and explore and see what we can fit in before the downpours start and the heavens open. A gentle jaunt along the south coast and up the west leads us to Mackley Moor. I'm in search of stone circles and standing stones on the west side of Arran. Now, so far, the rain has held off. So we're going to make the most of this bonus day to just go for a little walk and just seek out some treasures. Ideally, you'd want this at sunset, but I don't think we're going to get a sunset whilst we're here. Not a hope. The first stone circle you come across is interesting, but it's not what I'm looking for. I've got my eye on a greater prize. You'll see. I think in any photography I do today, I'm going to have to do something dramatic with the sky because it's really dramatic, quite foreboding, and yes, I've packed my plastic trousers. Right, so I've got to work out how close I go and spacing, do I want to see into the glen in the background, and how much sky. Might even try and get one with just two in, I can swing down the valley. Time to play. Oh, I do like bob cotton. This'll do as a warm-up act. Now let's see how things develop. And then of course the rain hit. It would, wouldn't it? I know you can't hear me, but essentially I'm blathering on about how lovely the light is. I may be getting soaked, I may be getting bitten by the midges, but by heck, that lighting was sublime. I want to share the raw file with you because when you first look at it, it's not showing what I was seeing. I had to go back to this video to fully appreciate what the light was doing so I could then turn it into my photographic vision.
Composition 1, sort of like this. Composition 2, a vertical featuring those two stones. And I know it's kicking it down with rain, but actually earlier on the storm light on the front was just lovely. Below sunset, dramatic light and cloud. This is what this place needs. After the rain come the midges. Whilst I was taking some of those shots, they were actually sticking to my face, which is not particularly attractive. Oh, and they're so itchy. And back in the van, I've got midge nets. Why didn't I bring them? Now that was far more interesting than I was expecting it to be, partly because we had a rainstorm that came over and then the light just went lovely. How nice. You may be able to see in the valley behind me, quite a lot of rain coming our way. So we're going to leg it back to the van and go for some nice luncheon somewhere and sit it out. This has been a nice bonus today.
So it was back to the campsite with its adjoining hostelry for some luncheon, some live music and some bank holiday photography on the beach.
Okay, confession. I've just had lunch about 50 metres that way. I am staying about 100 metres that way. And I thought I'd come out and shoot the scene I went out to this morning. The tide is in, it's simplified the foreground and it's just a calm, peaceful little shot. About 13 to 15 seconds. I've got the 10 stopper on. I'm overexposing and yeah, it's fine. Might have caught a seagull just on that rock there.
Well, that's a smug face if ever I saw one. But yes, a seagull did pose for 15 seconds.
I have been the victim of midges.
Thousands of midges.
And as a result, I'm going to choose my poison, smidge or skin so soft. I've also got a midge net. Don't know why I didn't think of these earlier. Anyway, smidge this time. Ha! Right, we have left it towards the end of the day so we can go to Glen Rosa, partly because the small amount of crowds on this island will then hopefully have dispersed, gone back to their places for food, and we will have the place to ourselves. When we reach our destination, we'll be faced with hopefully a nice twisty river leading up to Goatfell, which is currently in the cloud. Now, if there's not enough water, tomorrow is going to rain all day, so we can always come back the day after. Solution focus, that's me.
Well, it's quite a long walk, but my goodness, it's glorious. Now look at me nonchalantly walking in the science.
It's a proper glacial valley.
Oh, it's so impressive.
Good news, it's too windy for midges. Hurrah! Not so excellent news, we're in a cloud. We might get a bit wet. Who cares, we're out. Right, so this is the first view and I've got Goatfell in the background just sort of semi-emerging from the cloud. Lovely little fall, boulder on the left which may be too dominant, in which case I will go to the other side of the river, which would involve a jump from here, and I'll shoot from over there. Or maybe I just walk down to the bridge and cross.
Sensible.
I need to remember I've got a few more days and not jump over anything that's going to hurt me.
So whilst fiddling around and setting up, waiting for Goatfell to emerge, I set somebody to work. Not a single bone or camera was broken during the recording of this. And I confess to having a glorious half hour, going up, going down, jiggling with position and just getting something I was pleased with. But I definitely needed to be over that other side.
Well, that was rather splendid. I met a few nice people, took their photos for them on a certain Instagrammable rock, and then no midges. Had the place to myself. Great. So I'm going to go to the other side of the river because I'd like to get a higher elevation and a swoop going round. I am not going to jump because I reckon at the narrowest at the moment is about 5 foot of water and it's quite fast flowing. I don't want to lose my kit. I'm a clumsy old mare, so back down to the bridge and I'll just batter my way through a few brambles and stuff. Yeah, easy. Now this side, there is not an official path. So I'm going to be a little bit careful, but also I'm going to check myself very carefully for ticks afterwards, because I don't really fancy taking my chances with Lyme disease. Yep, that's better. Down there, slightly higher elevation, get a curve if I can do. Done.
From this side of the river, I was able to make sure that boulder wasn't as dominant and to ensure that I focused in on that swishy swirliness in the foreground. Yes, and making sure my tripod leg was not in the shot, which it was a lot. This is my current version. It's a work in progress, that's all.
Well, it's about having enough foreground, but not too much foreground. And now the sun's come out, which isn't terribly helpful. Gosh, I just want everything, don't I? Ah well. I don't think I'm going to need to come back here if we've had some rain. I think this has been just fine, thank you very much. I think I may have seen the top of Goat Fell. I've got a nice bit of swishery going around in that water, and I've been on my butt once. Yep. Ow. When you're behind the camera, it's quite sobering to think that this island at certain times has been desert. Now it's incredibly lush, and actually part of this particular valley was a mile under the thickness of a glacier. Wow. Wow.
Now Glen Rosa is popular for a reason, but there are so many more hidden gems on this island. If only we could see them. More hot waterfall action at North Glen Sannox.
Once you've parked, you essentially follow this burn along a well-formed path through a forest, and where you fancy, you stop and photograph the odd tumbling and mini waterfall. Sounds good to me.
Now I'm not going to put you through lots of footage of me photographing moving water, because quite frankly, been there and done that. Just know it's gorgeous and I've got a few shots. Now on this trip, I really had to push myself not to get stuck on one composition only, particularly when moving water was concerned. Looking for that perfect foreground pattern is absolutely my downfall, but there are just only so many shots that you really need. This time I forced myself to move my butt so I got something a little bit different. And therefore, that meant that I didn't look at this footage and think, why didn't I shoot there? Idiot! Maybe, just maybe, this trip might break a bad habit and stop me being an uninspired comp sitter. Here's hoping.
Thank you for joining me on my Isle of Arran adventure. Wherever I am next time, I look forward to taking you with me. Take care.